Okay, hello everyone. Today we're gonna make a little shorter video, but I felt this was so important to talk about, especially when we see what's going on today with the take on the Norse mythology and the presented history that we have portrayed in like the mainstream, and certainly with different bands, and those are like what do you call it? Influencers.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
spreading like a picture of what uh, they
Yeah,
have
what
like a
Nor
certain, or they have like a fixed idea now on how the Norse world would look like before, like the Christian era. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my research journey into where I have gotten today, because you know we're gonna get to that point.
yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I also wonder where they get everything from, since I tried to read yeah, some written text that I have found, and it's
Yeah.
hard to find what they actually mean with these offering systems. And
Yeah, it's very speculative. I found out when I was doing the research on the Norse mythology. um, I wanted to go back to the root where those, especially in the rune system that they are using, like rune divination, and where does the concepts about certain runes come from. You know, I know that people are like seekers, but there are like books out there, and we're gonna take a little look on this. So we'll start with this.
so yeah, so today we have the 1st of December, right? Is there something special to say about this day, or
Well, we're
like the
coming
earlier?
in. We're coming into the pagan holidays, but we're gonna make a video on this later on. But let's stick to this. This is quite important. This Kilvert stone, this is like the rune stone that are the base for all like the rune interpretation. And it was a guy in Lund in the late 1800 that were coming up with those theories about this Futhark rune system that I think his philosophy has been spreading, or philosophy, his theories, so to speak, has been spreading quite far today, but it's only theories. And there's a little arrow there on the end, and that's like the main thing that they are deriving this system from. But it's a rune raw, basically, with different marks, and they have put a meaning behind all this too. So I've been really like interested. It's been a big interest to find out where do they get this sort of what to say, like how do
The
they
meaning
even
of the
come up?
runes.
Yeah, I mean, where do they get the meanings for all these markings? I mean, it's quite
Hmm.
interesting, I'm not like bashing and saying that this is totally bad, but because it's brought me into different subjects, it's a but I can say that nobody really knows within this point of view, um, for certain different things. It's no like it's very mystical and very speculative.
Well, what does this this Futhark on this specific Culvert stone mean? Is it just, does it say anything, this text, or is it just the runes themselves one by one, so to speak? Or
Yeah, I think it's like that. I was making in the making of a book, and I was like taking all concepts and everything from what I could find on the Norse mythology, especially about the runes. So I made like one page for each rune and was writing down everything that I could find in different books and sources on each rune, and try to find this. Um,
some common ground.
yeah. I just wanted to find out everything that I could find on the internet and via books and such. Just wanted to gather all information so I can like make up my mind later, because I found out a really interesting thing, and we're gonna get into that later. Let's go to this. Yeah, when talking about this official view of the Norse mythology and all this is coming basically from this Snorre's Edda. This is like a little compilation of texts and like poems I think it's come from Iceland, but
Yeah, he was an Iceland guy at least, but
yeah,
so it's a set of several songs, so to speak, or
yeah,
it's not one. It's not only one text. It's a set of texts.
exactly. But what we have to know is that this is like written in the more Christian era, so we already have like a more Christian perspective on all this, and people, of course, there are like fragments that you can find in this Edda that are connecting to this Bock saga or the Väinämöinen Finnish mythology, which is completely different. They have some similarities, of course.
Yeah, they say this is Edda is from the year 1200 something, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just like the oldest Swedish text, the landskapslagar, the province laws, and
Yeah,
it's
and
written
this
about
is,
that time.
yeah, it's written by a Christian. So we already have, they want to take the perspective, it's like the oppressors want to control the narrative of the past to the people. It has been the
Exactly, to
case for
show that
all the time.
it was a lot worse before we came.
Yeah, but this is
Something like
so, I can really imagine why people has been like spinning around in this, because there are some elements of the paganism in this, if you compare it to the Finnish mythology, which is much more substantiated. It gives a much better, clear picture on what the marks, like for the runes example. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. Just wanted to show where they get the mythos from, all this storytelling mythology, like in the portrayed in those Viking series and this mainstream is all coming from this take on the Edda, basically. And a little bit from this Futhark system also. But we're gonna continue. Yeah, this is the book that I was reading back in the days, written by a guy called Thomas Carlson. And this guy is also, he has founded a secret society, you could say, called, not Ordo El Draco, it's some draconian, what do you call a cult, almost. I remember I was reading this book and I had a lot of questions to this guy. And you can find a little email down there. So I sent an email to this guy. And I got a reply from a person that wasn't even speaking Swedish. And I was like, oh. And I had to pay like 100 euros to get more information, like the basic grades. They have all these grades you can go up, and it's basically that you're gonna throw money at them, I guess. But it rose a big red flag for me just there, because this draconian, I got this sense that, why are they sitting on information and not putting it out if it was for the better for the people, so now you need to go to this secret society and sit and become a part of that, and I don't want to be a part of that. I just want the information.
Yeah, I understand. The early picture said the Futhark, or the stone picture, and here it says only the Utark, without the F in the beginning. Is this a different set of runes, or is this
No,
the
it's the
same?
same. It's
Okay.
deriving from this Futhark. It's a other book that he has been basing on, but I haven't included this. But I think this is quite important because this is a quite famous book. And this Thomas Carlson, he's also a musician. He has a band, a quite famous band, but not too famous. But I'm not really sure. But they have like been influencers in this because people take their texts and so literally, and it's a yeah. We're gonna
Yeah,
go for
so they okay. So they I understand. They take it for real, so to speak. They
yeah,
are
of
not.
course. It's no other information out there except for like the Bock saga Väinämöinen, and people don't want to touch that. But if you have an open mind and compare things and are interested, I think it's you have to go there, because when you go into these books, you hit a brick wall. Especially when the question about the Aser and the Vaner there, that was the biggest question for me, because it's a big thing. Like they have in this book, it's written like the Aser and the Vaner meets again on Ida Plain. Like, what do you even mean by that? You have no like explanation or whatever. But in the Bock saga, it's make quite big sense that the Aser and the Vaner meet again after the Ice Age. But that's a complete different story, you know.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's all about this 11 dimensions, you know, the different gods everywhere. You can pray to that god, you can pray to that god. It becomes like this Christianity hyped on, you know, you're only
Okay.
worshiping, yeah, you're only worshiping like different gods. This day you can pray to Thor, and now Odin, and now this and that, you know,
Mhm.
all these
So it's a
different
kind of,
concepts.
they try to convey the view that we were kind of religious before the Christians came
Exactly.
as well, and we
They
were.
call it a
Uh-huh.
religion.
Mhm.
Let's go forth. Yeah, this is from the book. Just wanted to, you know, it's a nice, you know, even though they have their view of things, it can lead people to. But the problem, they become like these gatekeepers in the knowledge, and you have to
Mhm.
join this society to know more. You know, it's so much fascinating little things that are put in this book that you can relate to in when you go around in Sweden. You find these stone monuments and those labyrinths, and you know, it's just I don't know how to call it, but I think the information should be for free, and don't lead people in like circles like these books did to me. Okay, let's go. Yeah, you see, they want to take the runes and use the same kind of system that they are doing with the Hebrew. So I think a lot of the meanings and understanding they have been putting into the runes come from this divination art, or what they did call it, from the Hebrew world.
Mhm.
So you see, they have the quite the same,
The
the
backward
tree of
chakra
knowledge, or
system
what they
almost, yeah.
call it, and yeah. So they have been like squeezing it, trying to squeeze in, and I made my own like system on this, and I found out even there that they had been putting some runes wrong, and you know, you try to really squeeze in the pieces here, and comparing it to this Hebrew system, because it's quite similar actually. With the Hebrew, they have this what do you call? They have this like system where everything is sort of falling in together within this geometrical structure that are called the flower of life. You know,
Yeah, and it's so,
yeah.
isn't it some Hebrew sound and then some part of the body as well, and then everything should in the end be
Yeah,
connected perfectly.
it's
Yeah.
quite similar, you know, and I thought this was really intriguing because I never like looked into the runes. This was like 7 or 8 years ago, but anyway, it was a part of the process, because you started to find this flower of life all over the planet, and you know, you wanted to know what's the meaning of it. And then when you start to draw them by yourself, you start to find out a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, you see, this structure comes from the flower of life geometry. So already there we have some kind of indication that it's something that is deriving from nature, that has a law to it, you know, because this kind of pattern you find in nature also. So that was like the anchor for me, you know, to try to fit in. But because the runes in themselves also derives from the flower of life, and you can take any rune from this Futhark system and put it into one flower like this, and you can see that it's coming from this structure.
Hmm. It's the same as the
Oh,
Fries language then, that is used in the Oera Linda book. I don't know if you've seen the Oera Linda book, but it's
nah.
also a really strange book.
Are they
And
also pointing on this?
it's written in Fries, a language that is, I think maybe some people still speak it in Friesland in northern Holland.
Okay.
And it's also based on the wheel, you could say, and the letters are made from the wheel. I think it's very similar to the runes, how the runes are created in.
Yeah,
You will show later here.
I think most languages, because you can see all the Europe are using the alphabet we are using, except like the O, A, Ö, uh, letters, but can take all these communication symbols, and so seems to be deriving from this, what I have been finding, at least in the Europe Western countries. but it's quite similar to the hieroglyph, but it's more like pictures instead of, that has a meaning.
Exactly, and not
And the Chinese.
sound symbols.
Okay, I was gonna talk a little bit about bands. This secret society, this different, this take on the Norse concept. We can see this is a very famous band from Sweden, but this guy, unfortunately, he blew his brain out with a gun. He thought he was gonna go to some different dimension or something. So I can see already that this take on this Norse tradition, this archive that they want to present, it has quite a bad effect on those people who goes quite deep, because it's also almost like the Muslims, how they think. They think this is a bad place you can be. It's better to in the next life, And this kind of mindset is quite dangerous, because if you look at the Finnish mythology, it's more like this is the reality that we are living in, and even after you die and go back to Valhalla, you sort of like reincarnate or whatever. You go back to this plane again, not some kind of different up in some kind of 11th dimension or whatever, So
now, life is about to be lived, not to be later lived. So it's a real different look at it. Yeah.
But it's like the castle there in Finland is called Rasepuri. Also, ras is race, and pu is a tree. Rasepuri is something, you're replanting of the race instead. The death has to do also with life, because in this andas, or to breathe, it had to do with the spirit or whatever. The souls are coming back and we breathe in, like, I don't know, this is very metaphysical, but it's still much more what do you say, sane to think that this is the reality you're gonna be reincarnated back into. Like doesn't the Tibetan monks also think that the reincarnation is like they find the next Dalai Lama among the children, in the people, and
nirvana. Yeah.
exactly.
And nirvana, you're confused, you're irring.
Yeah,
you get stuck into your head and forget how to live your life. Yeah.
but it's already become like a very abstract thing if you think you're gonna continue consciousness all the way through to some kind of other land that are not here.
Yeah, or even a different
it doesn't
planet.
even matter how you treat the environment or anything. I think it's very dangerous, and I just wanted to point out this is a classic example of how it can go. For we all see the Muslim suicide bombers, and you have all this. They have some kind of the havoc they are making on the world. Doesn't matter, because you're gonna go to some other place when you die, and it's same for the Christians. Let's go to the next. Yeah, this is also a band that has been influenced a lot by these runes, but they make nice music. I'm not saying that the art they are making it's not bad. It's intuitive. It makes people wonder what they are into. Especially this band Vardruna. They are making really nice, like almost meditative music, but they are making music based on each rune. And I thought that was a really interesting concept, because that you can in practice really do that. But I just wanted to point out they have also this big influence on the Viking show, I think, especially this singer here. Yeah, you see here, he is in the Viking series. I think they have been probably like having an input into the
writing of scripts and things.
probably.
Okay.
I have no idea, but they
Yeah.
they have like 15 songs in the Viking series. So they have a quite big influence, I think.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we have also this Amuna Mart. They are going with this Snorre mythology only with their lyrics. It gives sort of one identity. I always liked this band. When I started to when I started to make metal music, I was really big fan of these guys. They really put some kind of just the image of the Viking, this warrior Viking at least, which everyone has a pretty clear picture of today. You know?
Yeah, throughout the world, yeah.
So it's not bad in itself, you know, but the trails that they are putting people into might not end up so good because it's about blood sacrifice and all this when you go more
Yeah,
hardcore.
and offering and
Yeah,
masculinity and yeah.
that's nothing to do with the, you know, if you ask me, it has nothing to do with paganism to cut goat heads and spill the blood and all that. I don't think so.
No, I find it quite hard to really believe as well.
Yeah, especially
Just to
when you go
mention that,
into
I
the
think
holidays.
no, exactly.
It has nothing to do with the ritual purpose, especially from the Vaneminen mythology, which is like the end game. I had to make like 180 on this because I had to hit. I was really hardcore. I wanted to know the truth about the Norse origin and the traditions. And when you go into this literature that are out there, like official, you're gonna hit a brick wall. You're not gonna get the answers you're seeking for because it's so shallow. It's so shallow.
Yeah, and it's a very much of a religion thing, or yeah, you have to
Yeah,
offer and believe
you're
in
never
this, and
gonna
yeah.
find out and make a logic out of it because they are like taking in this quantum physics science cult. It's also like one religion. This is only about worldview. So now they are taking the science community into this. They are like trying to bridge it into this newest quantum science. You know, with all the different worlds that are existing. You're everywhere, you know. But let's go. Oh, there were two pictures. Yeah, you see here.
Yeah, you said the fifth game band member was in there as well.
Okay,
That was good.
doesn't matter. But you see here, this is Ragnar Lothbrok from the famous Viking show, and this guy from Vadruna who's making music to the show. I have no idea about their relation with all this, but I can just see how the narrative in the Viking series, because this is such a popular show, you know, so I just had to bring it in, and it gives a distorted view. There's so much. Not even the story about Ragnar Lothbrok is correct, you know. The historical, like proven case are not even aligned with this show, so don't take it
No,
seriously.
it's very interesting that when you see something on TV, your brain doesn't really understand if it's the truth or not. So it's
No,
if you've seen it, you've seen it, and then it's in your brain. So it's
but
kind
it's an
of
assumption. It's an
yeah,
assumption.
yeah,
They
yeah.
drag this out for seasons, you know. It's the biggest programming. Okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
you can see it as entertainment, of course, but
Yeah,
saying that it's the truth is a different thing. I
but
would
it's
say.
the view people are gonna have on it. It's gonna
Yeah.
become true for them. I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. Now let's go back to this. When we talk about the runes, they are deriving from this very famous old flower of life. You can find this all over the planet, but we're not gonna stay too much on that. I have a good one. Yeah, this is a work that is based on this flower of life thing that is called. He's called Cliff Barber, a good friend to James Chestnut. He had this theory about the answers to the universe or whatever you speak should be in this flower of life structure, and he has gone really
Uh-huh.
hardcore. He found out that he could get the alphabet from the flower of life also, but in the
And written in a wheel as well, or
yeah,
in a circle.
and you can
Uh-huh.
see the correlations. If you take like a triangle, you can have the H and the R and the A like connected. So because when you go into this mythology, you know, you start to see how certain things are related. The H, R, and A are quite connected in the Hel, Aser, and Ra, the same place. So he found out a lot of stuff. I'm gonna put the link below that are on. It's a tape on Cliff Barber that are really interesting to watch, and he explained his theories there. So I'm gonna put the link below.
Does he link it to colors as well in some sense, or
To what?
to colors?
Yeah, I think so. This guy is really old. He's still alive. So I'm gonna put the link below, and you can find out for yourself who are interested. But he has some really interesting theories. I just wanted to back up a little bit about the flower of life, because I had to cut this from YouTube, because when I was searching for the Gotland runestones, they had been like sorting this one out from the archive there, and I thought that was quite interesting. Maybe because
But
it
this
has
is from the museum in Visby on Gotland, isn't it? This is taken care of properly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taken care of properly. But you see, you have the flower of life there, and it's very important because
beneath or below the cross.
Yes, and you have the hearts pointing into the cross there, but that's a different story. We're gonna go into this in future programs. Gonna see if we can have some guests on that are gonna try to break down things with us here that really knows about the mythology.
Yeah. Now that you're saying, there are some heart shapes above there.
Yeah, and on the sides. Yeah, but in the Väinämöinen story, it's all going to the Midgård, and the heart is the Tor also. So it's the culture that is, it's not capitalism, but it's, how it went. It's a system from before that is quite it would be very taboo today, and maybe this is why they call the pagans barbaric and all these kind of things, because it's so different from the Christian mindset and the mindset we have today, which are like a pre-Christian mindset. So there are big conflicts.
So I don't think that you want us to go back exactly to how that was, but it's just really cool to know how they view things without written text, and how could they hold everything together, so to speak.
Yeah, but you have to. I think it's crucial to know about the history, even how it looks. Why shouldn't we be interested in our history and our past? And we have a certain idea how we want it to look like, and now it's all the alien theory. They have been making everything, and even planted the race here. And this is really one coming out from the Christian mindset, because the creator is up there somewhere. Some space cowboy made all this down here.
Yeah, exactly. Watching and keeping scores on how we perform each day.
Yeah, you see, so people have this kind of Christianity 2.0 version in their head now, that it's we are seeded from an alien race somewhere who came here with some kind of beam weapon and blasted the pyramids into being, and everything like this. It's really like one Christian mentality 2.0 that thinks that it's some outer influence that has been making everything. Like, of course, the sun has been making everything on this planet, if you really think about it, but it's this some guy up there, now it's this,
the sun, obviously.
Yeah, but in it has to be some kind of space cowboy in this. Yeah, but we're not gonna rant on that too long, but let's go. Yeah, here's a little bit more clear view of what I was talking about. I don't have my book where I am right now, but I took all the runes and put them in this hexagram grid, and they fit very nicely. So you can see that in this pagan world, they had two kind of writing system. It was the slinga, which is the curved one that the women were using, and you have this sharp edge, like you can see on the runestones. They are the masculine. So you can there's like two systems, but they both kind of fits into it. But then you have to have a spiral, you can't have this hexagram. But I just wanted to show one example there. You can see this is more the female, because everything up in the sky, the birds and all this are a female aspect, you could say. So this is the centrifugal force, but you can also make letters out of this structure, which are the slinga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see these are also Gotland runestones, very nicely made. But I think we end of this presentation, yeah. But we just made a little point here. I think don't take everything for granted. Try to research it for yourself. We're gonna make some future programs breaking down like the symbolism around Christmas. It's gonna be one coming up around Lucia. So
Yeah, and maybe specifically on Lucia as well.
yeah,
On the cookies we're eating, and we'll see what we speak about.
yeah, we know for sure that with the New Testament, when they included all the holidays, it was they converted the pagan festival days into Christian holidays. So we're gonna take a look at another perspective on all these holidays, because even today people, what is Lucia? Is it some kind of Christian thing, or
Yeah,
I mean,
an Italian girl. Yes.
yes. So very
That's
interesting
only
things.
celebrated in Sweden. Yeah, very strange. Yeah.
We're gonna take a look into this. We're gonna follow the calendar as good as we can here, but this is everything we got today. But I hope this is a little bit of a warning, because don't take everything for granted that are portrayed on the television and all that about the Norse world. It's so much deeper, and you can take part of another kind of information. We have to also know that it's an oral tradition, the paganism that was existing here. We didn't have writing or books and stuff like that. That is something that is coming from the south much, and we were like the last on the planet to have literacy among people. So at least the rulers, but it was completely different before. One saga, you could say.
Yeah, really. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
Really
Freddie,
good.
for joining me. This was
Thank you.
a quick one, but I just had to put this out so I could sleep at night. I feel so
Perfect.
bad for those people who hit the brick wall that I did. I'm so grateful, because it was actually this Michael Tesaron guy who pointed me in a completely different direction. So never expect to get anything out that is, it's only theory and speculation that is coming out anyway. So just make up your own mind on things. See what's logical.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, thank you,
so
Frederick.
much. Thank you.
We talk soon.